Hello, everybody. Sorry about the vacations and whatnot, but we are welcoming you back. Wow, it's been a while. Hold on, sorry. That
Yeah, it's been a long
was
time.
an awful intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gameroom Discourse podcast. My name is Mike.
I'm James.
And I'm Joey.
I apologize for. I know we just said we were coming back to regular scheduling, and then I went on a week vacation. So,
And then I
and
got
Joey got
sick.
sick.
Yeah,
So, lesson learned: don't make predictions.
life will come at you.
This yeah, this week's episode is going to be James. It was your idea.
Oh, yes. It's about strategy in video games, and planning that goes into video games.
Yes,
Personally, I do like this topic because it does show that we can, you know, be freaking smart while we're playing the video games.
You two
yes,
can, I
exactly.
can't.
Oh god, you do pre-planning when you do RPGs and all that. And
Oof.
also when you're speed running, you're planning out how to go about your routes.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
fair.
frick. Dude,
Yeah, all
God,
right.
dude, give yourself more credit. Yeah, I'm fine. Give yourself more credit. I mean, there's a little bit of planning and everything. I mean, like I think we do it a little bit subconsciously now because it's just part of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus, I have short term memory, so whenever I plan something out and then I do it, I'm just like, wait, what did I do again?
even though it's short term planning, it's still planning. It's still like you're prepping. I mean, like for fighting games, like we plan out how we're going to go about an opponent and like measure that against our past experiences with combos we know and how someone would play with a certain character. We try to figure out how to open them up, takes a lot of planning just with that.
Yeah.
I guess it's more of like passive planning, I guess you'd call it.
Mine is more planning. Instinctive.
Yeah, fair
Yes.
enough.
It's kind of why I'm bad at getting into new types of genres or games, because then I have to learn muscle memory without having the muscle memory, and it's just like, wait, I don't know what to do. What the hell? There's nothing to fall back on. Okay, time for me to quit because I'm not immediately good at it.
Uh, like also that's what planning is for. I mean, I remember I sucked for a lot of fucking games, and I just started making some weird fucking plans of just like, okay, that's over there, and that thing's over there. If I make sure to get that thing before I go over there, then I'll probably have a better chance. Sometimes it didn't work out, of course, but I mean, it's still like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I the most times that I use strategy is when I'm playing my RPGs. So a lot of times I will I play RPGs a little bit differently than some people do. My first runs are usually really bad, but they're also the ones that I have the most fun in because I am a lot of my conditions. I'm not going to get into that right now, but a lot of my conditions make things a little less obvious for me sometimes. So I will play the game and then I'll go back in the game afterwards and I'll look certain things up and I'll see like, oh, that's what that does. Oh, maybe I should have used that. And then I'll play the second game. And my second run in a game is usually the best. And I play defensively a lot of the times. I prefer health management the most. I prefer having health items the most. I'm not the biggest like I prefer that over like stat boosting items. Stat boosting items are great in a lot of situations, but I would prefer to manage and have the most health that I can. So I will raise my health stats as much as possible in a lot of games and RPGs. And then once I'm at like 10,000 health, I just don't die, and then I'll raise my defense a lot next. And it'll kind of go in that order. And then no matter what happens, I'll just win. It might take a little longer, but that's kind of how my strategy usually goes a lot of times. I usually prefer to have high health, high defense.
Yeah, I personally like tanky builds too. I mean, mostly because like it gives you more chances to like figure out what's going on. Like if you get like you won't go into something and instantly die. Most of the time, if
Yes.
you make a tanky build, it can be like, oh, I got hit. Let me process the information because I'm still freaking alive.
Yes,
which is like
exactly.
planning for the game ahead too, because when you make a tanky build, you survive things easier. But most of the time, it is going to take longer. But it does allow you to like process your information at a slower pace than it can. There's also like DPS builds, which is just like, okay, I'm going to design this build to just destroy anything in my path, no matter what it is, or just like knowing your buffs and what stuff you can have on you at a certain time and whatnot. It's
Or just going in
also
guns
fun.
blazing, where it's just like Leroy Jenkins. No planning, but also you plan ahead to just have the reaction to, oh hey, if you see bad guy, aim, shoot, continue going, aim, shoot. That's
I mean,
kind of a
also,
strategy.
yeah, it's a
Yes.
good strategy a lot of times, especially like you make something beforehand that will like, cover for any weaknesses you do have.
Yeah.
End up playing a game for a bit. You're like, okay, I'm really bad at this one mechanic. Like I'm gonna use Elden Ring. Okay, I'm really bad at dodging. So what if I just made a build that's better at blocking everything rather than dodging? So I don't have to time everything. I just have to block through all of them and then strike when the opening is at the best. It covered for me for a good amount of time until like I went to another build and decided to actually go back to dodging
It also
because now I
depends
know the
on what
bosses better.
it depends on what tools the games give you or the tools that you're able to choose. Because I find that I'm pretty good at stealth games as long as I have the tools to predict where the person is going, where they can see people, and what movement options I have, if I have any, and all that kind of stuff. Which is kind of the reason why I don't like the stealth options or the stealth gameplay in the Spider-Man game when you're playing as Miles or Mary Jane, because you just have
Yeah,
like no
have
options.
one option. You only have the one option of keep moving forward and
Yes.
maybe make a distraction. I did not like that.
Oh, they
I
were
mean, like
terrible.
when it came to the actual like when you played as Peter Parker in the stealth parts, those were you had so many good options for that.
It was amazing. Same with the Arkham games, where you can just go like, okay, I'm gonna distract one person, get him over to the fire hydrant, and then I'm gonna come up to him, stealth, take him down, whatever, and then go into one of the grates, and then see where my next choice is, and it's so much fun.
I do love that too. I mean, it's great because like you can plan out and also not just plan out, plan to your strengths and what you actually like to do. Having the option, excuse me, having the option allows you to make a plan like that's also comfortable for you. You're not just forced to do a certain thing at a certain place.
Yes, there's always, even if you plan something out and you think, oh, this is going to go this way with strategy, nope. It, you always got to plan for flexibility.
I prefer
You
to
always have
do. That is a good thing, but so like, have you ever guys ever played a game where like elements are involved? I mean, like elements is in like fire, earth,
Yeah?
I know what you're talking about, like
and
picking your favorite one and like
like enemies will have elemental strengths and weaknesses.
yeah,
Yes.
So a lot of those games are there's a lot of games I play like that. Persona, East, Tales. There's a lot of games that have different benefits and strengths for certain stats and whatnot. Windcraft, which is a Minecraft mod. Um, I
they
like
are
to
doing
do what I
spellcraft
like to
right
do.
now.
RLcraft.
No, spellcraft is
Oh, you're playing
been going
Spellcraft.
good.
That's really fun.
Yeah, yeah, I like that game.
I so in a lot of games, I prefer to do what they call have a rainbow build. I prefer to have a weapon or armor or both that deals damage to every kind of element. And usually there are weapons that'll specialize in elements, um, and armor that'll specialize in elements. But this is what I always do. Like in my first playthroughs of games, is I prefer to get or rainbow builds. I prefer to have builds that protect against everything a little bit or a fair amount, versus having to know or figure out what each boss or enemy has. It just saves me a lot of time, and I can enjoy the game as well and not have to grind as much for new weapons and armor. Um, Now, not every game has that. Not every game has armor. First off, um,
Yeah,
but like you
and
know what I mean, like gear. Like I prefer to
I,
have.
Like high
I'm thinking
defense
like in the
clothes.
I'm thinking of Borderlands style a little bit when you get like a certain kind of shield, or you get
Yeah.
weapons with different stuff like explosive or flammable or poison or shock or something like that, and like
Yes.
Or like
having
the weird
like
purple
a
sludge
special
that makes you do more damage.
exactly the slag I
Slack,
believe
yeah.
it is like yeah slag. I haven't played Borderlands 2 a bit. I haven't played Borderlands 3 at all. So it was hard for me to remember. But yeah, Slag, I did like that one.
I have not played
it was,
Borderlands. Fun fact.
I've
yeah,
I
played
know I
really good.
should.
I've played 1 and 2 with my brother. We're currently playing like 2 together,
Hmm.
and it's very fun.
With friends, it is really good. I played Borderlands 1, 2, and a pre-sequel, and they're all pretty fun. I didn't try out Borderlands 3 because of, of the bad reviews mostly, and I got spoiled on what happened, so I wasn't just not with it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by the like button. Please hit it.
Wow. I look back a couple of videos ago, and I'm pretty sure we said hit the dislike button. We're changing our tune now.
Yes, we're changing our tactics here.
If you dislike
I
this
would like
video,
to,
like it. If you like this video, dislike it. If you want to
yes,
subscribe,
let's
don't. If you're currently
just pure
subscribed,
chaos.
unsubscribe.
Chaos. We want the chaos
Have
button.
we confused you enough yet? Hopefully,
Yes.
I'll
I would
confuse
like
you
to say thank you.
accidentally.
I would like to say thank you to everybody. We asked, we received. Last episode, I said, please start watching our content more. We're really good at this. And what happened? We got 14 more views. So you know
Hey
what?
man,
I'm just gonna start begging for views, and we'll see what happens.
hey man, it works. Apparently, the algorithm likes us begging
we
for
had we had a 3-view video twice in a row, and then we got 14. And I was like, you know what? The only difference was I said to watch it.
Make sure
I
to like
told
the
so
content.
watch this one too, everybody. Watch it. Watch this video. Algorithm, pick it up. I said the watch button. Hit
Spread
it.
it to your friends, please.
Spread the button. Hit it. Hit it now. Let's go. All right, continuing on after that little ad joke break. Um, I gotta
I
say,
mean,
what is your favorite like strategy game? What do you picture when you think strategy? This is the game that I play when I have strategy in mind.
um, I'd say I guess multi-party turn RPGs. I guess I should say. It's not
No, no,
just
no.
like
What's your? I get that, but what physical game do you think of the most?
oh, what physical game did I think of most
Yeah.
of the
What do
time?
you what do you what do you picture when you think of
I
strategy?
picture Final Fantasy most of the time.
Ah,
I
that's a good
picture
one.
like all the Final Fantasy games really. Mostly because
See,
you
I
actually
picture
have
I picture Dragon Quest,
that's
but
fair.
they're one and the same coin, I believe. I would say.
I mostly picture Final Fantasy because you basically have full control over over all of the characters and how they operate and what they can do in
I
pretty
was
much
never the
every game.
biggest Final. I was never the biggest Final Fantasy fan. I feel like a lot of people are Final Fantasy and a lot of people are Dragon Quest. There's probably also a lot of people that are both, but I was always Dragon Quest. I played a few Final Fantasy games. I played 7, 9, and 15, and they're pretty good. I like them. They're good. I also played
I
the
don't
first one.
consider. I mean, I don't consider ultimate strategy game. It's definitely not the first one I played. I definitely played Pokemon first, but that one's like baby strategy of like basic
Oh yeah,
route
Pokemon is
decisions.
Pokemon is. I don't think of
Again,
strategy at all when I think of Pokemon.
again baby's first RPG. So when you
Babies
think
first. Yeah, really, exactly. Fucking Super Mario. Oops. Oh no, we're well in past the time. Fucking Super Mario RPG is a lot harder. Paper Mario. Paper Mario is a really good game for strategy. I didn't think it would be, and then I had to really, real like figure out all of the different hammers and shoes that you have to wear, and there's a lot of grinding in that game.
that
It's
reminded me of
really interesting.
that reminded me of the Mario and Luigi saga
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that's
That one,
based on it, I
yeah,
think.
it's based on it. Yeah, well, because
Mario and Luigi came out as like the successor RPG for Mario.
yeah, I like that one because I played that one first. Like I played, I think it was
I've never played Mario and Luigi. To be completely
the
transparent.
first one I played was Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. That one for the DS, and
My
then like
brother,
eventually. Yeah,
What's like the second one? It's like the
second. I believe it was. I forget, actually, I know Superstar Saga. I think was
man. That's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of. My brother or my sister loves that one. That's like her favorite.
Superstar.
She played the shit out of that game, and I remember watching her all the time.
Bowser's Inside Story was also like underrated.
Bowser's Inside
I
Story
do.
was amazing.
Yeah, I've heard
It's
good things.
so good. Oh man.
Um,
Mario and Luigi.
there's so
Honestly,
many different.
when I think like the first few games that I think of when I think strategy games aren't really like your traditional RPGs. It's oh hey, Magic the Gathering or chess because
Yeah, I think of chess a lot
Fair
too.
enough. I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh person, so I mean,
Well,
there's that.
Yu-Gi-Oh's
That's
a game.
definitely
Yu-Gi-Oh's a
strategy.
video,
It's definitely a
video
strategy
game.
game. If anything, you're planning on how your deck is going to be built, as well as like how you're going to use that versus other decks. Especially when some stuff becomes public knowledge of like, oh, I know that card. I should probably use this against that card. Stuff like that, and there's a lot of strategy in that, as well as also investment too. I think that's I think that's also a kind of makes strategy important in games because you have to for strategy. There's like always a point of like investment with it, so you kind of want the build or strategy or plan to work out, or like the deck or whatever.
Right, of course.
It's like you put time and the effort into actually like making sure it would work. You're like actually trying like really
Hmm.
hard. I
So,
mean, like,
like, that's another thing. I really have to care about the game a lot. If I don't really give a shit about the game, or it's not really doing anything for me, or it's not really making me require strategy. Like, there's a lot of RPGs that are just easy that they don't put enough effort into making the RPG, and then they just become easy. And that's like the worst thing you could do for an RPG. They're not supposed to be, they're not all supposed to be butt fuck hard, but you know, they have to have some level of difficulty to keep you there. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's where the strategy really comes into play. If it doesn't have that keep, that like I don't know what the word would be, that hook,
what you
that
if you don't have the passion for it, rather.
yeah, if you don't have an interest and it's not giving you a reason to have an interest, then why the hell am I going to
Which is
spend 80
good.
hours in this game? You
Why
know what
am
I
I
mean?
gonna bother planning on trying to be good in this game? I
Yeah, like why am I going
don't
to
care
put the
about it.
effort in? Like that's my biggest thing with like, and this is going to be really controversial, but we've already hit this road before. That's my biggest thing with easy modes. I don't hate them. I think they're very good for newcomers. You know, but it's a slippery slope because RPGs are a bit of a prideful thing that I think of when I think about it. You have to be good at a lot of them. You have to like learn and strategize. And if somebody's able to just come up and say, "I beat this game," and like, "I beat this game that you beat," super easy because I just played on this difficulty. Yeah, they
Well,
beat the same game
it
as
does,
you, but
yeah, but it kind of takes away from their thing.
well,
Honestly,
yeah, but
it's not like
a lot of them don't care, and I'm just sitting here like, if you make an easy mode, you have to kind of find a balance between just ruining the game aspect of it versus just I don't really don't know. I can't think of an example where easy mode gives you
I
a
mean,
similar experience.
well, if you really like want that argument, I mean, there are the you know the God, why can't I freaking say it right now? The from software games that don't have any modes. Everyone has the same experience.
Yeah,
There
I
is
like those
no easy
games.
mode. I mean, like,
I like
yeah,
games. I like games like Zelda. I like games that have no difficulty, and you have to fucking play them the way they're meant to be played.
it's good, but not everyone is good at video games.
Yeah, no.
Like
So then
you and
don't
me
play
and
them.
the other guy. I mean, don't play them, but also they could
No,
just have
I'm
an
just kidding.
easier mode.
No,
I think they need
I
to make it accessible for it to sell, though.
I think difficulty modes are required for easy games. Like Kirby and the Forgotten Lands needed a difficulty mode. It needed a difficulty mode because Kirby's are easy games usually. Not all of them. There are some that are definitely get hard, but Kirby's are generally more easy games. And if for Kirby and the Forgotten Lands to really succeed with modern day audiences, it needed a harder difficulty. Now, that's not saying the hard difficulty was actually that difficult, but it was definitely more difficult than the Spring Breeze difficulty. So that's a game that I'm like, yes, have difficulty because you need to make it harder for a lot of people. Games being too easy. What?
I'm gonna say, to bring it back on topic. Yes, games being easy require less planning and less.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of where I was going. Difficulty is required for planning.
Yes, but for some people, some games are just hard for them than others.
Well, then,
I can say I'm really good at Arkham City, but I'm really good at Arkham City, but I go into Spider-Man and then I just fucking suck sometimes. It's not like I'm not gonna play the game. I still like the game and the other aspects of it. So I'll just put it on.
Yeah. I know. I'm just being a cuck I'm just being an ass for no reason.
Listen, I don't want to fight level 9 CPUs all the time.
Well,
sometimes I just want to
practice
a combo against a moving target. Against a moving target.
Level 9 CPUs are trash, man. Just play a person.
Some are trash, some aren't.
I mean, the Falcon one is pretty good.
That was the addendum to that.
But I don't think Smash requires much strategy as it does just skill.
I mean, you have to plan out your combos. I mean, you have to plan out your.
But how much planning really goes into it? A lot of it is just split-second decision making.
I'd say those split-second decisions are also planning, because you have to plan how you approach, and then if that works, then you have to plan what your next move is for the combo. And there is some planning.
We're saying the same thing, but I don't believe that that's strategy. I believe that's just having skill at the game. Strategy oftentimes requires a lot of stepping back and thinking about what you're going to do, and you don't really have the time to do that in Smash. Unless you're doing it before. Unless you're doing it. That's what I was about to say. Unless you're doing it before the match, but you're not playing the game at that point. You're before the game. I can't count that as strategy for the game. I would disagree.
I would disagree with what you're saying.
You can't count something as strategy if it's not if you're not playing the game, then it's not strategy for the game.
Yes, it is.
You're not playing the game.
You don't need to play the game to strategize for it. I can strategize all I want for chess and not play the game. I can know how to do the moves.
Stress requires strategy during the game.
I'm saying planning and strategy doesn't require you to be in the mode for you to work it. Because I can plan I know this person's going to use Bowser in the next match. Okay, I shouldn't use this character. Instead, I should use this character and go about it like this. So this is going to be my opening play.
That's just life planning. That's just life. You just have to plan.
Life planning. That's planning for the game specifically.
Yeah, you're planning for the game that you're going to play. That's like planning your time management. That's not strategy. It's just like...
I feel like that is definitely strategy.
Is time management life strategies?
Yes, it is. I would definitely say it is. It gives you an upper hand by a lot.
I would agree with that. But you're playing the game of life while you're strategizing your time. You're not playing the game of Smash when you're strategizing your character. You've already picked your character when you're playing the game.
I feel like
there's playstyle of character. When I play Snake, you see I am the stupidest person ever, and then I switch from a different strategy of being the spammiest, whatever it is. I go from CQC.
You have a CQ. I was gonna say you have a CQC Snake, which is weird.
And then I go immediately into spamming projectiles and keeping you away, and then I go straight in and dash attack. It's a strategy of switching between the strategies or the playstyles. Yeah,
but it's also a strategy he's using to apply into the game. So different.
All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. I'll give that one up, but I don't give up this entire point. But I think we should move on.
Oof.
I feel like I kind of want to say on the topic that if you're planning for the game, it is still strategy.
Shut up.
No, because like I want to. Like sometimes I make builds outside of the game, and I'm like, okay, this will work, and then I
What
go into the game
builds?
and
You
I do
can't
that build.
choose a build for Smash. Oh, you're not talking about
I'm not
Smash.
talking about Smash. I'm talking
Oh,
about in general, because
okay.
that
I was
is
like, wait a minute.
outside of it.
What game are you playing? I have never played the
Spirits.
Smash
There's
game.
multiple games you can do that, like I just Smash, but I mean, like
No,
you kind of
I
can
love
do that in the
Dauntless.
World of Light.
Well, you've never played Spirits?
Yeah, to say Spirits, World of Light, you can play it on which space you're
Yes,
going to
World of Light is
use.
like a different game, though. I would say.
Well,
Speaking of different builds, that's a definite strategy. That I would totally agree. In a game that a game that I play called Dauntless. Um, I have like 20 different builds for different. It's kind of like Monster Hunter, but like not. It's like a budget Monster Hunter because it's free. Um, and you make different builds based on weapons that you get by getting monster parts from the monsters that you kill, and each monster has different elemental. And I have 20 different builds because I'm extremely OCD, and I have to have a build of all the weapons that I play. Or I have to have a build based on the elements for all the weapons that I play. And I played 3 different kinds of weapons, so I have to have there's like 5 or 6 different elements. I think there's 6. So I have 18 different elemental builds. One elemental build for every weapon that I'm saying. I think I'm over explaining this. I think you guys get the point,
I mean, I
right?
understand that. Like,
Okay. And then I have
I,
2 meme builds because I like to have a joke.
fair enough. Sometimes you just want to see how much you can stretch one thing to see if you can
Yeah,
build.
how good I am at the game.
I mean, I could still say like that for like I guess Skyrim. I guess would be my thing for that.
Yes,
I
Skyrim,
did make
definitely.
I
Skyrim's
made
a
I
lot
made
of
a
fun.
lot of. No, I'm saying I made a lot of builds. Like my first one, Tanky Warrior went in there with that, and that's it. And then I went in. And I'm like, okay, now I want to make sure not to use the stuff I mostly the
Tanky
skills I mostly
Warrior is
use.
definitely my favorite build.
Like,
Next to next
heavy armor, get the
yeah,
good blacksmithing, one hand fighting with the shield.
yep. Yep. Tanky armor, like tanky heavy, super defense, super health is definitely my ideal build in most games, except for a game that I mentioned earlier known as Windcraft. Windcraft is a Minecraft MMORPG, and I don't really play vanilla Minecraft. In fact, I think it's really not that good. Um, but I love Minecraft in the sense that I've spent 5,000 hours in this game that I'm about to tell you. I have like 5,186 hours, I think is what it is. Um, and I made an archer. And I don't know what it is about bows in that game, but they don't work any way that bows work in vanilla Minecraft. There's no drawback speed. There's multiple arrows always being shot. It is not what you think about when you think about bows in Minecraft. Um, but I main the archer, and my worst character is my warrior, which is a tanky warrior. And I don't really know what the difference was, what happened, why I took so well to that, but I I liked the speed that came with the archer
I
and the
mean,
fact that I could be super strong from being so far away. And I never really needed to be so up close. Um,
I mean,
and I don't
fair.
like. I usually hate that. I usually hate feeling that I'm far away and spammy. I usually feel like that's kind of cheap in most games. You know, Dauntless is my big strategy game as well, where I hate that. I hate the ranged weapons. I just feel like they're too easy. But with Dauntless or with Windcraft, struck a good balance where I still needed potions. I still needed healing. I still needed, you know, to be good at the game. I couldn't just stay away because, you know,
I
you
mean,
guys
like
have never heard
okay.
of this game, so it's hard to explain it as
I
well.
mean, I think I can get it. I think I get the gist of what you're saying. I mean, I know some
But
games
like,
like do like make it so some are like better than others, so you kind of do find
yeah,
something
but
else that is kind
Windcraft
of
struck a
cool.
perfect balance. They have mage, warrior, archer, and assassin. They're all good at different things, but you can't. One's not definitively easier. I should say.
It
And
does make stuff that gels with you more than you didn't realize.
yeah, I mean, I get yeah. It was interesting, but the point of that is it required a totally different strategy from what I was used to. You can't really build a tanky, high HP archer. That's not usually a thing, and it's not a thing in Windcraft. Windcraft, I had to build speed, and I could get a good amount of health, but I had to build speed and extreme critical hit damage and damage output because I would die really quickly because archers don't have a lot of health. That's true for most games. That's why they have the little cheating ability of being able to hit you from further away. But not cheating, but you know what I mean. Like, that's how they balance it out.
I mean, I feel okay. I do actually have something for that then, like an exact kind of thing. For Borderlands 2, you haven't played it, Mike, but I will describe it. I do normally like to play other characters, and I was just like, and then it didn't gel with me at first when I went with this typical tanky character that could be fairly defensive and all that, and then all of a sudden I played Zero, who's a very long range and also sneaky character with
Yes,
focus
yeah,
on
sneaky.
because I don't normally go for that, but
I
for
don't
some
either.
reason I it gel with me. I'm like, okay, this kit actually works really well with the guns that he specializes in. The melee is good, and it makes it really good and felt really good to play as, which is
Mm-hmm.
really hard. I can't get in for other games. I normally when I go sniper now and anything else, I'm like, it's not Zero. Is my thought of oh, it's not Zero from Borderlands 2. Oh no.
Yeah.
But which is why I go back to Borderlands 2 a lot because I actually do go back feeling Zero. It's actually really good. It makes me feel good to play that thing. Mostly because
I,
I guess probably I didn't play it that often, and then it was just this actually works and clicks with me. I guess is the thing. So I had to start playing around that and getting weapons I wasn't used to and stuff like that.
yeah, it was interesting. I had to do completely different mindsets. I had to prepare more because in a warrior or a knight or you know a broadsword main or whatever you want to call them, whatever their different names are throughout different games, you have to be up and close and you have to worry about, yes, you have to definitely worry about healing, but you have more health abilities. Your health usually is higher than in a long range archer. And, you're more intricate with the person you're fighting. You learn their styles a lot quicker because you're literally right there. You're fighting them directly. You're attacking them as they're attacking you. You can parry a lot of times. That's a lot of strategy. Whereas an archer, you have to deal with a completely different set of moves and a completely different way that characters will hit you with moves.
They're gonna try and
Because
bait you. They're gonna try to go for
yeah, they're
cover. You got to
exactly.
count for wind resistance and arcing speed.
Yeah, they're gonna do a lot of different things because you're the camper now. You're the one that's further away. They have to get to you. It's not right up there. And a lot of times that's when their stronger moves come out. And so you're dying really quickly. So I had to really figure out how the hell the character that meshes with me the most, which it's a character that I'm least used to in games. How I'm gonna figure this out. And, eventually, spoiler alert, I did it. I got to level 105 with all four of the classes, but Archer being the best. 105 is the highest you can get to. 100 is the last thing, and then if you want to be a true goat, you can go 5 extra levels. And getting from level 104 to 105, you have to get all the experience that it takes to get from level 1 to level 104. You have to get all of that experience to get from 104 to 105.
So basically, do your entire journey you've done so far over again in
Yeah,
terms of
essentially.
experience.
Yes, exactly. It's crazy. Um,
What
and
about another one?
uh,
I-
I gotta say, the game that gave me the most strategy, that I had to put the most strategy into, was probably Pokemon Fire Red when I recently played it because I didn't want to play it the baby's way to play it. I wanted to play it. So I did inspired by. I have to give it credit because we're a YouTube channel now. inspired by Small Ant YouTube, who I think got it from Point Crow. Forget exactly. I did a what was it called? Fuck.
Nuzlocke?
Was it, yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was no, it wasn't a Nuzlocke. It was a
You didn't do it with a friend, did you? So that would be a soul link, not a randomizer.
no, I didn't do it. It was I did it by myself. Yeah, it was a randomizer.
Yeah. Those
But
are
I
fun.
did it. But every trainer was level 100. Every Pokemon was level 100. So I had to figure out, and I kind of used his video as a guide. So go watch his video, and that's pretty much what I did. But I'm not gonna get into like all the Pokemon and everything. What I had to figure out was, how do you beat a level 100 as a level 5? How do you do it? And the answer is, you don't. You lose that first battle, and then because you don't lose the game if you lose the first rival battle, you just kind of eat shit. But you know, you don't lose. So I had to just lose, and that's fine. But I had to figure out then how to get past the forests with all the trainers and the required trainer battles. And one of the Pokemon that I came very, very fond of was Shedinja. Because Shedinja,
yeah, that's a good one.
as you know, can't be hit unless you have a super effective move. So what I would do is I would...
Niggas doing that odds all the time and only has a 1 HP unless you Dynamax it.
So that didn't work for everything though, because a lot of Pokemon are super, like they do have super effective. I did it for Ruby, or not Ruby.
Sapphire, Emerald, Fire
Emerald.
Red, Leaf Green,
Emerald.
Emerald.
I did it in Emerald. Because I wanted to do it in Ruby, but I didn't want to delete my file, so I did it in Emerald. And so what ended up happening was, I forget exactly where it was. This was a few months ago now. Actually, it was probably a year ago now. No, it was a few months ago. I'm bad with time lately. I don't know what's happening. But I ended up having to build my team so that I could take down like teams. I would have to hit poison and then paralysis, poison, paralysis, poison, paralysis, poison, paralysis, and I would just keep having to weight them down and keep switching in Shedinja unless they had a super effective move, and then I would have to keep poison, growl, poison, growl, poison, growl, and I would just have to keep doing different like status buffs, status debuffs, and status like hurting moves, and eventually it was ridiculous. By the way, my Pokemon never got to 100. It never happened. I never got that glorious thing. And I thought after beating the first trainer or the first it was only trainers that were level 100, by the way. It wasn't wild Pokemon. And I thought after beating the first couple trainers that my Pokemon would be like level 30. No, that's not how the XP apparently worked. It was only like level 16. Like it wasn't even. It was kind of insane. Beating Roxanne was and is one of the hardest things that I've ever done.
Now that I think about it, there are some moves that would help you out there, like Dragon Rage, which is just a.
But how do I learn Dragon Rage at level 15?
13, I know. Like, there's some Pokemon that start off.
I
think there's some that start off with it.
But where do I get those in the first couple areas? Like where?
I thought you said it was a randomizer. You got it lucky, basically.
No, it wasn't a randomizer. That was the wrong word. It was. I couldn't remember what it was. Or what I called it. It was just a beating Pokemon where everything was level 100.
Yeah.
Or every trainer.
Poison and Confusion would be really good because it's just
Poison and Confusion was really, really and Paralysis were the cruxes of my thing. And so what I would end up doing was I built my team so that I would know. So like if I would always send out Shedinja first, and if they couldn't hit it, I knew I was good to go. I knew the whole battle was over because a Pokemon trainer will always switch to another Pokemon if they have a super effective move or if they can hit you. So like with Shedinja, if they don't switch off their Pokemon, then that means they have no Pokemon that can hit you, and I would just, I would just win. It took a while, a lot of times, but I would just win. And that was the strategy that I used for most of the game. And it worked pretty well. But there were definitely some trainers in the later game where they were just like the ice gym, which would just destroy me, and the fire gym, which would just destroy me. So it was like, had to figure it out. I definitely had to think a lot more.
There's a lot of good ones, like Perish Song, because that's just set instant KO.
I didn't think about Perish Song.
And like,
that would have been so
Toxic,
useful.
Toxic
Was my favorite move.
Because Badly Poisoning just does set damage and it just destroys the
Yeah, set damage was the best. Like Ember, like Fire. Ember was a good one that I used a lot because I picked Torchic. Toxic was great. I think my final team was Shedinja, Blaziken, Altaria.
Altaria would be good too if you ever did actually want to do some damage of just Dragon Dance and Nerf.
My final team was, I told you, was Shedinja, Blaziken, Altaria, Breloom, and I don't remember the last two because they are always switching. I don't remember what I finished with. I think I got Rayquaza, and I kept Rayquaza in. Because I was level 70 and I needed it.
I know some of these strategies because like I did play Pokemon competitively. There are people that can take on like level 5s against.
What did I finish with? What was?
Because like Pokemon Showdown, you can do stuff with like, okay, I can poison you, and then I can just stall you with substitute protect, stuff like that for the entire time, if need be.
And I had and it was Vileplume. I had two Pokemon that could poison because one would consistently die, and I wanted to make sure I had two that could do it.
Fair enough.
So it was Vileplume was my fun because I kept getting stuck on the Elite Four, and I was like, because their Pokemon also level 100s, and I was like, I don't feel like grinding to 100. That kind of defeats the purpose of the challenge. Because I could have just put them all into daycare and then whatever. But the point wasn't to be level 100 with them and put it on even footing. The point was to strategize and figure out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the same vein, I'd say Nuzlocking, I'd do the same thing. Because as soon as you add permadeath in one catch only per route, there's a lot more strategizing that has to
I have never done a Nuzlocke, but I want to. I want to see how it works.
You got to go with a gen that you know the most. So for you, you'd have to go Gen 3, and like
I would probably have to go with Gen 2 or 3, yeah.
Because you have to know the gyms, you have to know which Pokemon can be caught on routes, what would be the best thing, and what the gym leaders have. Because you don't want any surprises, so there's other surprises that can already.
That is true. I can imagine like the surprises would just fuck you over.
Don't Nuzlocke the gen that you know how to do, the gen you know the most, except for Gen 4, because that one tends to screw people over very quickly.
I don't know Gen 4 very well. I have never played Platinum, I've never played Diamond, I've only played
Oh my goodness, Gen 4 Elite 4. Holy hell.
Gen 4 Elite 4, but also crits come out a lot more for some reason in Gen 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it isn't coded differently, but for some reason, there's a lot more very dangerous Pokemon that can hit you with crits very early on. I can tell you a story real quick. I attempted a Nuzlocke on Platinum version, because of course I did. And of course I got to that one freaking windmill tower right after the first gym, and I ran into that Ugly. Nightshade swept all of my team except my starter. And I'm just like,
the Ugly with Mars, was it Mars or
with Mars? Mars, and she had Nightshade in that high crit ratio or in the high crit game, and that very hitting hard per Ugly strat just destroyed all of my team. And I'm just like, I had two Pokemon left, and I'm like, okay, I'm sending you out there just so I can heal my Prinplup because he's the only one that
Wait, hold on. Were you allowing yourself to save like after every gym? Were you allowing saves?
Oh no. If I full wiped, I was starting the entire run over.
Oh.
I've done it for all of my Nuzlocks. I haven't.
I don't think I would ever do a Nuzlocke where I don't allow saves.
I mean, you can of course do saves for it, and you can allow yourself other stuff of like, okay, I can't use any of these Pokemon for it anymore. Isn't game over for me? You set your own rules and
I
stuff.
would do it where I allow myself to save after every gym, and then that would be it. And then I would, because you have to do it. All right, we're gonna take a break. I have to use the bathroom, guys. Sorry. For you, it's gonna be a second. For us, it's gonna be like 10 minutes. I have to use the bathroom. I'm sorry.
See you when we get back.
We'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gameroom Discourse. I'm James.
Mike,
I haven't forgotten.
And I'm Joey.
Before
what are you
we're
calling
talking
our audience stupid, James?
I
Comment
mean, who
below if
knows?
you think
got
James is
tired,
stupid.
just in case they got tired or are rejoining the podcast after pausing it for a bit and then coming back to it. It's good to remind them. I would forget.
He's covering
I
it.
my
He's
own,
covering his
I
ass.
forget my own names sometimes, so to be fair, I'm just being courteous.
All right.
But we left off before the break with strategy in video games. Does anyone want to take the floor for right now?
I'm gonna give it to Joey.
Oh, me?
You got one?
I have nothing right now.
I do have something. I was saying, if does anyone else want to put their or I have anything I wanted to say?
I mean, recently I've been playing a lot of 3D first person, like, movement shooters in a way.
What is a movement shooter?
Basically a shooter where the movement is interconnected, kind of like TF2, where you can play as a soldier who can shoot rockets, but you can also shoot rockets at your feet, which leads to movement. And what you have to do to be good in the game is you need to be able to move anywhere you can and know where you are, to dodge bullets.
You know what I forgot existed?
What?
The Gundam freaking shooter that was supposed to come out soon. I don't remember. Like, it's a movement shooter, like you're describing, like TF2 and Overwatch. I was just reminded of that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
It's a class-based shooter, which, yes, that is a subgenre of what I'm talking about, but I'm also talking about a game called Cyberhook that I've been playing recently. Where
I've heard of that. I know nothing about it, but I've heard of it.
Oh, it is so much fun. Just don't get the DLC. Just play the original game.
All right.
Because in the DLC, there's a final boss, and yes, there's some strategy to it, but when you're playing as a character that can die in one hit, and then there are like multiple phases, and then you need to get like 3-star records in a certain amount of time, it just doesn't do well for it. Just play the stages. They're amazing. And there's a whole bunch of strategy that you can do with going fast, because speed is the name of the game. You want to grapple onto things, stay on the ground for the longest. You can also wall ride. You have a grappling hook, which you can only grapple blue things with. And you have a double jump. And when you grapple things, you have a double jump. You regain your double jump. And there is so much strategy to go into it. And even just getting into speedrunning or finding the hidden collectibles, it may not seem like there's a whole bunch of strategy in it, but there is, because you want to make sure you're going the fastest that you possibly can. You're able to reach the next area, and if you can't, you have like a slow-mo function where you get to slow down, and your range for the grappling hook is, it's just made even longer, and it's such a fun game. Yes, I'm basically just gushing about one game that I played recently.
I mean, hey, go for it. This podcast is ours. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
As long as we stay vaguely on topic, I'm okay with it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you did talk about the strategy of movement being your source of winning for the game.
Yeah. In fact, you were talking about it before, but there's also strategy in just speedrunning, which this game has really in-depth.
Speedrunning is really fun. It just changes the game. Speedrunning a game is honestly like playing a completely different game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially when you include glitches.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I speed ran. So everybody, by the way, I just went on vacation for a week. I'm not gonna get into that, but the reason I had so much free time, which is where this is going, I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time again. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is one of my favorite. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and it's the Explorers games are my like some of my favorite games ever made. Um, I played the shit out of those games, and I've beaten all three of them like 20 times. So I recently played. I played Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time again on vacation, and I wasn't trying to speedrun it, but I'm just so good at that game. Look at me, I'm so good. But no, I'm just so good at that game that I checked because I hadn't played it in a while. I checked to see how long it took to beat it because I didn't want that to just be my entire vacation. That one game, and it said, "Oh, it's about 20 hours to beat the main story and about 40 hours to beat everything." I beat the main story in 9 hours, and I was like, "Huh, let's try to speed run this. Let's just see how fast I can do it." So I ended up completing the whole game in 15 hours, like 1540 something, and I was like, "Wow." And I wasn't initially attempting to speed run it, but so I went back and I tried to beat it again, but with the mindset of speedrunning. And I will say, the speedrunning Mystery Dungeon is really, really hard because a lot of it is luck. A lot of it is where you're going to, like where the movement is, or like the
I mean, where
rooms.
the
You have to,
movement is, what like Pokemon you pick up too for your team.
yeah. Where the staircase is? You have to get
And what
some luck
items you can
involved.
use.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
even
when
with
I
randomly generated games and random elements, there's still a lot of strategy involved for speedrunning because you need to get your deck, see what you can do with it, and then plan around while also trying to be as fast as possible.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly that.
so
Sometimes you get good
I ended
RNG.
up beating. So I want to say my time. The world record for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time and Darkness is 5 hours and 24 minutes. On my first actual attempt at speedrunning, I got 8 hours and 41 minutes and 13 seconds.
Nice.
So I was pretty impressed with myself. Pretty happy. Um, and I didn't use Wonder Mail, by the way,
Huh?
because I don't use Wonder Mail anyway. But I didn't. That is a specification for the speedrun.com. There's any percent no Wonder Mail and any percent Wonder Mail. I did not use Wonder Mail. Funnily enough, the world record for Wonder Mail is actually longer than the world record for no Wonder Mail.
Probably because you have to input all the codes.
Probably that actually that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Takes time unless you're like really good at typing in Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah.
Yo, dude, I've optimized all my keyboard shortcuts and just getting to the right letter.
It's just literally just actual touch typing that you've programmed into it at this point. It's nothing else. It's just your actual keyboard, so you can actually type just for those small sections for Wonder Mail.
Oh, God. But have you guys ever speedrun anything else before?
Pokemon, I tried for like early Final Fantasy. It didn't work.
I speed ran Breath of
Uh,
the Wild any percent.
when
I
I
Nice.
was
tried.
younger, Mega Man X.
Because I've speedrun Odyssey. I did a run while I was in the game room. I think John was watching
Oh,
me, and
I watch a lot of Mario Odyssey runs with small ant.
it's very fun. I even got the
I know
moon
it's
skip.
fun. Hey, do you
Yeah.
know how to nut jump?
Yes. You have to have the nut be wet, and then it needs to be an early version of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job.
So I can do it, or I know how to do it. I just can't do it. And I've also speedrun Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which is a Donkey Kong game that you play with bongos as your controller.
Donkey Kong Jungle Bees is very, very fun.
Yes, it is incredibly fun. And if I look on the leaderboards, because I'm still up there, uh,
Really?
yeah, I'm in top 8
Nice.
Really?
out of 8 people.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah, I'm guessing it's obscure category then. It just
Hey, I found your name.
Wow.
Rocky Dude 25.
Yes, and the
Wow, you
recording is
beat it in 2
absolutely
hours. Jesus.
yeah, the recording is absolutely awful because it's like desynced and it was recorded on my MacBook.
you did with one of the times you sped run Donkey Kong Country with the Broncos.
I mean, dude. I mean, I expected when you said 8th out of 8 people that the number one would be like so much better than yours, but it's only an hour and like 20 minutes. It's not that far off. I'm sure with like a bit of practice and a lot of optimization, which I know you're good at, you could definitely get top 4.
Yeah, I probably could. The only thing is with my with my attention span, it's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this game is so cool. I'm gonna get my time down, and oh, time to switch to another game because I'm bored.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. That's why I don't do speedrunning a lot because I don't really play multiple games
I mean, you do have to
multiple times.
dedicate. You have to dedicate a lot of time for it in order to know the exact tricks and
Yeah, and there's a lot
correct
of disappointment because you're not gonna get a good time, and if you're
then there's
trying
also
on like an
muscle.
old game, it's gonna be very hard to get the time down. I know because like I used to do uh time trials in Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, and I would just try to beat the ghosts and go over and over again, and then until I got bored. And I think for the Wii U, I was number 13th on one track at one time. Then again, it was not really that popular of a game to get time trials in.
Then again, like those time trials were sometimes really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. No one was
They
Yeah.
ever
were.
for the DS one, and even them I did not like.
Oh yeah, snaking on the DS for time trials. Yeah. And even then, in the
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 for Wii U, I wasn't even using the best vehicles for it. I was using the inside drifting bike when you really wanted to use carts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? It has nothing to do with anything we're doing. I was writing something down. Can you tell me why infinite autocorrected, the word infinite wasn't spelled wrong. Why infinite autocorrected to infante?
Um, different language keyboard. Have you been speaking in
No,
Spanish?
nope, it's English. I have no idea why that just happened.
Yeah, I have no idea. Oh yeah, another good thing for speedrunning is when there's a game that has specific achievements for it. Usually I don't
Yes.
like it because if it's a game that I like kind of like, but I don't really want to get into it ever again, it's just annoying to see a game that isn't 100%. But if it's a game that I really got into, something like Refunked, where if you've ever heard of it, it's another 3D platformer, like first person, but you can wall
Hmm.
jump. You need to push buttons on islands to get to the next island, and each one is like a pillar that shows up. It's very fun.
Hmm.
And one of the achievements is beating it in under 4 minutes.
What?
Yeah,
Huh.
it can be done really quickly,
Huh.
and I still haven't done it yet. Procrastination is where I live. I live in the nation of procrastination.
Fair enough. It's pretty hard to do the things sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there also are some games that don't require. I mean, like the ones that are purely reactionary, purely reactionary, I guess, or don't require planning. I guess everyone knows, like Simon Says, I should say. You think Simon Says requires planning or just reaction time?
Yes, you have you have to plan how to put into AA batteries and then start it, and then
we need to have a clips channel or a shorts channel, and that needs to be our first short. Just out of context.
Strategy.
Do you think Simon Says requires strategy? That's like me whispering in James's ear after Joey asks like your favorite fruits, and I'm just like, is carrot a fruit? Like, no. What?
It's not that I think that I was asking of like a hypothetical. Do you think a reactionary game is just that? Is just
that's like saying that's like asking if red light, green light is strategy.
Is it?
I guess it depends on the game.
Oh my god. Yeah, when they start adding yellow light, then it may be.
Yes. You gotta wonder how you're gonna walk towards the person because they give you a yellow light. You gotta slow down a bit. You have to be ready for it. If you're going too fast, and you're like,
I guess if you really analyze it, you could talk about how if you sprint, you might have a hard time stopping when it's red light.
Yeah.
No, there's actually strategy involved where you have to stay close to the ground so you can stop on a dime, and you need to be, or you can be leaning against a wall if it's an enclosed area. I watched a Squid Game video about strategies, and there was strategy in red light, green light.
I hate you.
I hate myself too. Don't worry, it's a common ground.
That's so terrible. That's so cursed.
Oh, it's incredibly cursed. I love it.
Oh my god. No.
Also, I mean, even in games that don't require strategy, sometimes it's a strategy to control the game. Like, how do you hold the controller or keyboard and mouse? What buttons do you have it inputted? Like, sometimes strategy is changed if you have Smash Ultimate and you're playing it with tilt stick instead of smash attacks. Or tap jump off because some techniques don't work. Or you can always do what I do and have AB smash still on, and when you turn around, you won't fall off of ledges. So it's just a way to BM your opponents.
Yeah, I love BM. I think BM is a lot of fun.
Yes.
As long as you're not doing it to genuinely be mean, you're just doing it to be troll or like have fun. BMing and being like intentionally mean, I feel like are a little different. BMing a lot of times involves like laughing and trolling and teabagging, whereas being mean is just like, "Ah, you fucking suck, get out of here." It's like, no, that's toxic, get out.
Yeah, the difference between the two is if your opponent actually likes it or not.
Yeah, and even if they don't, like, as long as your intentions aren't to just be mean, like it's bad manners. It's not necessarily I'm going to kill you.
It's like the difference between taunting somebody or like what you said before. It's like, you're
Cursing
so
them
bad.
out.
Yeah, compared to like dash dancing once you kill someone, or doing something stupid like, you know, when you're holding down the A button and you're like pressing the C stick back and forth while you're moving in one direction.
Yes.
You're doing that little pivot thing. It's so much fun to do.
Yeah,
and people are just like, God damn it, what are you doing?
I love doing the little shimmy when you hold up and you just kind of like move the C or the joystick left and right really quickly, and you just do a little shimmy. The character just turns back and forth really fast. Not dash dancing, but it's like the character like full turns back and forth really quickly, and you can shimmy across the stage.
Oh, I also like it when you're like,
We're
there's a
talking
difference.
about Smash Ultimate, everyone.
Yeah, it's kind of our default.
Yeah.
Let's go back to strategy.
What is your least like? I hate camping. It's a viable strategy, but
Your
like
least
I hate
favorite strategy is fair enough.
is like camping styles or like styles that just try to piss you off to win. Like that's why I hate Sonic so much in Smash Ultimate, because his entire gimmick is that he doesn't need to fight you, and I'm just like, that's very very brilliant to put in a fighting game.
It's the whole thing of if you're just playing for fun, yes, that can be really annoying, but if you're playing for money and there's like tournament viability on the line, you will do
I guess.
anything you can to get that trophy and or money.
But when you do that, yeah, you might win the money, but you're killing the game. Like there's it people think about it like, oh, it can't kill the game. Yes, it can, and they're like, oh, who cares if the fans like. Do you realize that the only way tournaments make money is if people show up? And if you play a character, or a bunch of people play a character in a certain way that nobody wants to show up to watch, you're not going to make money. Therefore, the tournaments aren't going to exist. Therefore, you won't make money playing the game. Now, I
Yeah.
get it. That's not likely to happen because there's a lot of players that like that, or that play right, or quote unquote right. And there's only a handful that play that cringy. But when you like, that's my biggest worry about Steve right now, because Steve is popping up a lot, like Smash 4 Banger. Like Steve is popping up all over the place now, and it's not fun to watch. It's not fun to play against. And if that becomes the meta, Smash Ultimate is going to die. It's not going. Nobody's going to want to go to. No one's going to want to watch it. It's a viable strategy to win, yes, but there's a lot of time. Like you got to think you might win now, but you're not going to win forever because you're not going to be able to have this game forever. You just keep hurting the watchability of the game.
But then there's the whole concept of even if they didn't do this, how long do you think the game is actually going to last before a new one comes out?
Well,
Or
the Smash 6 isn't coming out anytime soon. I mean, Sakurai has said it himself. They don't plan on doing another one for a while. And Ultimate looks like it could last a long time.
Yeah,
It's already lasted longer than Smash 4.
we've got a good roster of characters and don't really need the.
And it's kind of like Melee in the sense that it plays fast. It's not super slow. There's not a lot of crap to deal with. It's like an optimized Melee in the sense. It's different, obviously, but it's like it's a more um,
yeah,
it's a more accessible Melee.
in a way, yes.
Like Smash 64 died, Smash Brawl died, Smash 4 died, but they were all very different. They were all a lot slower. They were all a lot clunkier. They all had gimmicks. Whereas Melee was really just pure fighting and using some glitches and whatnot to your advantage, but it's just fighting, fast-paced fighting, enjoyable. And nowadays, Melee is really hard to get into, but Ultimate has a different thing where, yes, it's fast-paced a lot of the time, but Ultimate's very easy to get into. Ultimate has a very low skill to enjoy and a very high skill to master. Whereas Melee doesn't have a low skill to enjoy. Melee is very hard to enjoy if you're not somewhat good at the game nowadays. You know what I mean? It's
It
not a
it
party game.
it
It's
dep-
not a party game that you bring to your friend's house anymore because it's very outdated. The only way you're really going to play it is if you're playing tournaments.
I mean, I find some things against that, but then again, I'm above average at both of those games.
Well, yeah, I think I know how to play Melee a little bit. I know how to enjoy myself with that game. But I'm saying unless you have a GameCube and you don't care for new Smash games, you're not gonna really find yourself at a friend's house playing Melee at a party, unless it's a Smash party.
Yeah, I have had my friends come over and what's the thing that we want to play? Uh Smash 64 with like Sonic in it and Marth.
Yeah, but you that's a Smash party, and that's still different.
Yeah.
But you know the point that I'm making.
I do know the point that you're making, and yes, it's a strategy but then again, do you really think that people are gonna go to a tournament, play the way they're doing it, and then not do it so that they can get more money in the long run?
No,
They have a strategy, and they have a strategy that works, that they're
yeah,
good at. That
yes,
and if they don't do it, other people will do it. instead.
Yeah,
And
they will.
it's
It's a moot point, not because it's a moot point, not because it's a bad point, but it's because it's not going to change anything.
yeah, Steve's in the game. It's not going to change anything. If people get better and have counterplay, good. If there's no counterplay, then
Uh
what are you going to do?
oh. Yeah, it's a point that is completely right, but doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
And I know that. I acknowledge that. Doesn't mean I can't make the point.
that is fair. And
You know.
sometimes you just have strategies that just piss people off.
Yeah, James.
Just because I played Duck Hunt, I had to
No,
try for that strategy, man.
you do have
There's
to try.
actual aiming required.
Yeah, no, that's just
You
a shots
are.
fired for no reason. Because
Like I try my damnedest with that strategy with freaking Duck Hunt of all things.
No, I didn't say you didn't try. I just said it's a strategy that pisses people off.
Oh yeah, it pisses people off because it's just like, where the fuck are you coming up with this bullshit that I don't know
Why
how
are
to
you
counter?
doing this to
No
me?
one because no one uses it,
I
and
thought we
therefore
were friends.
it's bad.
Why are you doing this? I thought we were friends. You came to my birthday party. Why are you doing this to me?
To me
It's
at my
my
birthday
birthday.
party.
At my birthday party.
You can't just do this to me at my birthday.
Come on, man.
pizza time.
Charizard Go Flame Burst. Do that one.
I do like
Why
that
you
one.
gotta play Duck Hunt?
I do. Come on.
No, I know,
man.
but I'm
Come
like I'm playing I'm playing as if this was actually you at my party. I'm like, and you went Duck Hunt. I'm like, you play because I know you play Charizard. I'm like, why not play the funny Flame Burst, man? Why you gotta play Duck Hunt, man? It's my
on.
birthday.
Why you gotta do this at my birthday? No mercy.
No mercy. There's $20 on the line. I want it.
Why are we doing this at my birthday? Well, you're the one that wanted the money match, man.
You wanted the money match. I want the money.
Let's talk about
Shit.
strategy in From Software games.
What are those games?
Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls
Okay.
3,
Yes.
Demon
Yes.
Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne. You want me to go on?
Bloodborne. I've played Dark Souls 3. I played Elden Born. Yeah, I played Elden Born.
Eldenborn.
I've played Bloodborne, and I've seen Elden Ring. Not played it because I don't want to. I don't have that time. I know I'll get invested into it, and I know I'll love it, but I don't have the time to afford it.
Do you have the money to afford it? Probably.
Yeah, but that will suck my life away.
I mean, it did for me for a time, but then again, I didn't really have a job.
Yeah, I've got a job, I've got a girlfriend, I've got a career, I've got a lot of things I have to worry about right now, and I don't have the time to afford getting sucked into a game.
Not all the time.
Which is
Yeah.
why I took my vacation gaming very seriously, and I didn't want to just spend it on one game, which is why I was worried about Mystery Dungeon, because it's an RPG. But I was like, how long does it take? Because it's also a Pokemon game. They're not usually that long,
Yes.
and I couldn't remember because it had been a long time. I know I said I beat those games a lot, but I beat them a lot as a kid. I hadn't played them in a very long time.
Honestly, strategy.
And you know how
Yeah.
I know I hadn't played it in a long time? Because I booted up my Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness, which was the first one that I played. And I never reset that one. That's the one that I only technically beat once, but it was the first one that I beat. And back then, I never liked to delete games. So when I found out there were two other games of the same game, Explorers of Sky and Time, I bought those, beat them, and I would always be deleting them because I was like, I have one that's also always beat. So I went back to my Darkness profile, and you know how I know I was still a kid? My team was all caps. My name was all caps Fireball, and my partner was all caps Bulbasaur because I accidentally made the mistake of naming my Bulbasaur, all caps again. So now he's a Venusaur named Bulbasaur, all caps. So I knew I was a kid, and I tried to finish beating that game, like getting some of the legendaries that I didn't end up getting, and I just couldn't stand that my Venusaur was named Bulbasaur. So I quit, and I went to a different game. It was insufferable. I'm like, let those memories die. Let's just forget about that one.
Hey, it's a strategy to name your Venusaur Bulbasaur.
Yeah,
It confuses the
yeah.
character. Go
It
out,
confuses your opponent.
Bulbasaur.
Go
They're like,
Bulbasaur.
oh man, okay, I gotta get
It
this.
confuses your opponent in a single player game.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
like, what? That's not a Bulbasaur. That's a Venus.
I sent out my level 5 Charmander for this.
Okay, so back on the topic of strategy, I was going to go into FromSoft, but you put out a good point. Sometimes strategy can just be outside of games as well, like what you spend your time on in games. Because
Yeah.
I spend my time a lot in rhythm games and platform fighting games. And it shows because I could pick up a platform fighting game or a rhythm game and do pretty well on the easy stages. But then
I haven't played Multiverses yet, but I want to.
I have. It's decent. It's good, just not my type of
This
game.
is just kind of like All Stars Brawl, where it's like nothing's wrong with it. It's just not gonna last.
I mean, it has a good roster, if anything.
Yeah,
I know that it does have a pretty nice roster.
It's got a good roster. It's pretty fun. The only thing is,
It's got LeBron James.
it's got LeBron James and it's got the Iron Giant in it. And it's just
The Iron Giant's a broken character, which I'm not surprised is already banned.
it's just
So
a very
James.
it's a very floaty, very recover from everything type game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not like Rivals, where everybody falls.
I mean, you also have to
Or no, Brawlhalla. Not Brawlhalla. Everyone just straight up plummets.
I think you can survive from a lot of things in Brawlhalla though.
You can, but you still plummet really fast.
That's fair.
Speaking of Brawlhalla, that's a completely different strategy for fighting, like platform fighting, than I usually use in Smash Ultimate. Now, if you guys haven't heard us say before, all three of us play Smash Ultimate fairly competitively. So we know what we're talking about when we talk about Smash Ultimate. But I was surprised that I picked up Rivals really quickly, and Smash pretty much translated directly to Rivals. But when I picked up Brawlhalla, it's the same style, but it's so different in a weird way. I really don't know how to explain it.
That's how I feel with multiverses.
Like I didn't understand the combos. I didn't understand the characters because everything moves so much faster, but then slow in like opposite points compared to Smash Ultimate. So I play I don't even remember the name because I haven't played Brawlhalla forever. Oh God, who's the skeleton?
I have no idea.
Skeleton for what?
Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla.
Oh, no,
Shit.
can't remember that for the.
Oh, are you talking about Rayman?
No.
Shut.
He uses a bow.
Shut.
Brawlhalla skeleton character. Yes. Asuri. No, Azoth. Okay. Yeah, Azoth is who I use. No. No, it's not. What? Who's the archer?
We could just look it up with the power of the internet.
I'm looking it up.
Okay then. Just making sure.
Who? It's not Emperor. What? What? Huh? Maybe it was Azoth.
Is it Bonesaw?
No, it's Azoth. I don't know why I thought he had a bow though. It's Azoth. Azoth is who I play. He uses an axe.
What happened with the bow?
I don't know who I played with a bow. I don't remember, but it wasn't a long time because I just checked my game, who I had the most hours in the characters, and it's Azoth by a long shot. And Azoth is who I play. Um, but like the strategies that I'm fuck this topic. I'm not playing Brawlhalla. I'm not doing Brawlhalla. We're gonna move to a different game. I don't I don't remember enough about it. I haven't played it in a while, and as shown by the fact that I couldn't even remember my own name. So we're gonna move on to a different game. We're just scrap Brawlhalla.
Strategy in first-person shooters.
Now that's a
Oh
good
yeah,
one. So Doom
I guess.
Eternal is my. I'm gonna let you guys take the floor. I'm tired of talking.
I mean, for me personally, I definitely like it for zombies, and also for games where it's just like search and destroy, or like Counter Strike.
Mm-hmm.
When you really have to think about your because it's permadeath basically.
Mm-hmm.
There is no respawning anymore. You have to plan out your move if you want to like
Oh,
actually
is that true?
survive. Yeah, what for?
Call of Duty
Oh.
Zombies?
Oh well,
Yeah,
yeah, I
like
guess because yeah, I was like
that's
Call of
kind
Duty,
of.
you respawn all
But
the
it also
time.
like nerfs you too if you like do die. I'm saying like for search and destroy, there's a lot of eliminations too.
That's true. Hmm. Intriguing. In Doom Eternal, which is my go-to shooter because I don't like shooters for the most part.
Die.
Uh, Doom Eternal is one of my favorite games of all time. Um, I don't think it's top 10, but it's definitely up there. Uh, that's a little spoiler for next episode. But in Doom Eternal, I have to strategize my ammo, and that's like the biggest thing for me. My knowing where the items are, knowing where like the refills are. I always try to map out the area. I always try to go through the level first, and I usually end up dying. But I go through the end up level first on a life. I usually sack one life. I go through the level and I try to locate a lot of where health items are and ammo refills are, and I try to figure out where everything is, and then I go back in on my real first attempt, and I know how much ammo I have, obviously at the start, and I'm really good with the assault rifle with when I have with the sniper module on it. I'm really good with that, so I will usually use that to start off, and I'll pick apart many enemies at the start, and so that way I have less that I can go into, and then when I go into the full on horde, um, I will definitely obviously bring out try to true shotgun. Um, and I don't usually like the full auto shotgun because I'm a person who will definitely end up wasting ammo that way. Um,
I'm the same.
so
I go for the explosion.
I go for the explosion because it's just better.
Also, you can like there's the floating enemies with one eye where if you shoot them in the
Yeah,
mouth, Cacodemon?
the caco demons, cacos.
Uh, it's so much fun. I wish I could get
And the
into it
raid.
because I start playing it and I'm just like, yeah, this is so much fun. It's too much. It's overstimulating. I need to play something else.
It is very overstimulating, but I love it, and I will always love that game. DLC was great. Everything was great. One of my favorite games.
Yeah.
Um, but a shooter strategy is a lot of like rinse and repeat for me because I'll have to go through a level and I'll die, and then I just have to remember where the enemy that I died to was, and make sure that I have enough ammo that time to go in. And because a lot of times with shooters that have bosses in them, like Doom Eternal, you have to like make sure because they don't. A lot of times, Doom Eternal has ammo right before a boss. So once you see a lot of ammo in an area, you either know you're about to go into a boss fight, or you, or you're like into the room of a boss fight. or you're going to see ammo right outside the room of the boss fight. So, you know, you just have to be wary of your surroundings and make sure that you are using and have the hotbar, like the switch off weapon that you want to use as a backup. You can do the scroll wheel, which takes time, or you could do your two main weapons. You could have your one that's out and your forget which button, but you would hit the one button and it switches to your last weapon. And you can just switch back and forth. So that's what I usually do. I usually go assault rifle, shotgun, assault rifle, shotgun.
Shotgun's
But
actually-
I try my main strategy is I try to pick off enemies that are stranded before I go into an area, and then it's just less that you have to deal with.
I normally like going with a pistol as like my second.
I missed the
mean,
pistol. The
because of-
pistol wasn't in
because of-
Eternal, but I missed the pistol.
Because quick sidearm to pull out and also accurate if you take your time with it.
And the pistol had unlimited ammo in Doom, the original Doom 2016.
Yeah, but it was very weak.
Yeah, but it had unlimited ammo, and I abused the hell out of that. And it had to zoom in a little bit. It was just, if you knew what you were doing with it, it was still devastating for like pre-area cleanups. Like you could pick things off and not waste any ammo. It took some time, and it was a little weird, but it just
Yeah,
the unlimited ammo part really helped.
Yeah, for me, it just felt too weak. Like, I knew it was powerful, and I knew I could use it. It's just the way it was designed. Like, something with the sound design and just the strength. It just...
It was definitely weak. It was definitely weak. I mean, I would never use it in an area that I was already in. I always used it pre area for like picking apart enemies so that I didn't have to waste assault rifle ammo.
Yeah, but then it becomes a whole thing of why use any other type of ammo when this has infinite and I can just
Because
spend...
it's too weak and you die too soon to certain things.
Yes, but ammo economy.
I'm saying
Ammo economy is useful,
small thing.
but ammo economy is useful when like I said, when you're using it for something where you're not getting attacked. Why waste ammo if you're not getting attacked? So when you can pre-scope out enemies and kill enemies without getting attacked, because a lot of times in Doom, you can pick off early enemies and then you go in and then they spawn. So you have to, you can't kill everything beforehand because they haven't spawned yet. They only spawn when you go into the area. But there's also enemies that are just wandering at all times. And if you could pick those off, it's just less to deal with. And that's where the pistol with unlimited ammo comes in. Pick them off with the little zoom in range beforehand. I think it's like 6 shots to kill the imps. Or whatever they're called. You kill them, and then you bring out whatever weapon you use the most, and then you go in. And it's just less you have to deal with, and you don't have to waste ammo for it.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just go, oh, hey, I could use this ammo, or I could just use the pistol, which has infinite, so I don't lose anything. It's just like my strategy in RPGs, where it's just like, no, don't use the healing item. I could use it later on. You have 50, and this is the final boss. No, don't use it.
No, don't use it. You can use it
Don't
later.
do it. I like in RPGs when they have 2 healing types. Flat healing items and percent healing items. Because percent healing items are broken late game. Whereas flat healing items are the same all throughout the game. But they get a little weaker because you get more health.
Yeah.
I like saving percent healing items that you usually get in the beginning of the game, like heal 10% of your health, heal 15% of your health. For the last half of the game, or like the last bits of the game, when you're at 100,000 health, and enemies are dealing a couple hundred or a couple thousand health a hit, and then you could heal like 10,000 health with one potion.
Yeah.
Whereas flat healing, I prefer to use in the beginning because it's just guaranteed almost full heal. That's the big thing with like East. The East franchise has 2 different styles of healing. They have percent healings, which is they have 10%. No, they have 30% healing, 50% healing, and 100% healing. Then they have items that heal 100 health, 500 health, and 1,000 health. And I prefer to use the 100, 500, 1,000 health far more than the percentage healings. And I'll save the percentage healings until the final couple bosses. And I will just blow through them.
I don't think I've ever played an RPG where there was percent healing items.
Really?
Yeah.
It's super nice. It's very nice.
It is good because it works all the way up to higher levels too. Like
Yes.
that health potion you got at level 1 still is as effective as it would be all the way at your final level.
But because your health is always getting higher, the flat healing rates are usually not as good. But they're also usually cheaper by the time you get to late game. So, because in the beginning of the game, they want you to use those percent healings because they know how broken they are. So they want you to use them, and then then you have to struggle. But like with East, you get you can carry I think 9 bottles at a time, 10 bottles at a time.
Is there a
and
bank?
you usually but you can only carry a certain amount of bottles on you at a time, and you have to craft a lot of these potions. You can't buy them. But like at least in East 8, I've played most of these games, but one that I have the most memories of right now is East 8 because I just replayed it again. But in East 8, you're on an island, so there's no material supply that you can go. You have to get everything from the island, so you have to craft the potions yourself. Whereas you have an item buyer because everybody came from a ship, and there was a merchant that was on a ship that had all this stuff. So, because that's how they made the game work. Because you're stuck on an island, you still need to be able to buy items. Yeah, but so you had the merchant to buy the flat items, flat healing items, and you would have to go and get the aloe, get the gels, get the different things to make the potions. And glass bottles were really, really scarce. So you had to save those. But they gave you one at the start of the game. And they also have 5 bosses at the start of the game. So you're really tempted to use it. But I didn't because I realized, because I've played games, RPGs before where they have percent healing and flat health healing. And I realized that I just need to get really good at this game really quick. Because I don't want to waste this percent healing button, because it's going to be super useful.
I'm guessing there's no characters that can just heal through SP gauge or.
No, there's a heal spell. It's just not very good. It's good early game.
And can you regain the things that you do from save points?
What do you mean?
Like, say it uses SP, can you regain SP from saving or going to a specific place? No?
No.
Okay.
Your SP heals over time.
Oh, that's good depending on...
Not in battle. But it heals over time when you're out of battle.
Okay.
Because East is an action RPG series, so technically you're always able to fight. But when you're actually fighting, you're in a battle circle, and you can't just run away from an enemy. So you have to fight the enemy. So while you're in that little circle, it's weird, but when you're in a circle, you have to fight that enemy. You can't just leave. So your SP stays static when you're in that little circle once you get into an enemy's range. And then when you leave that, or you beat that enemy, your health and your SP will start to slowly go back up. Unless you're in a boss fight, then it's all static permanently and you can only heal with items and whatnot.
It sounds like what I would do is I would go on my phone and wait for the SP gauge to just go up all the way.
Yeah, that's a strategy. I've done that before.
Then never use healing items because I'm a cheap bitch.
But with the SP, your SP heals over time when you're killing things. It is really it'll heal. You have a lot of SP, and so to heal your health over time, it might take 5 minutes. But to heal your SP over time, it might take 20, 30 minutes if you're not killing anything. You get your SP back a lot by hitting enemies.
Oh, then I would just hit enemies.
Well, but then you have to make sure you manage your SP better.
Okay. That's part of the game.
Exactly. It's part of it's the
Strategies get further along as you find out more mechanics of the game, fellas.
Become more
Yes.
diverse as well as more complicated as you
Yeah.
go on.
I'm a
Kind of get a
very
little bit tired.
good player when it comes to the East game. I know a lot about them, and I'm very, very fond of them.
I'm a very
But
bad player because I don't have them.
I'm a very, I'm also a very knowledgeable person when it comes to RPGs in general. That's my forte. Strategy RPGs and tactical RPGs are my specific niche forte for RPGs, but I love them all.
What would you say is the
Um,
best Ys game to start with?
First off, it's East.
Ys, whatever.
Um,
East, West, same difference.
uh,
Wumbo.
so the East games have like two different time periods. So you have East 7, 8, and 9, which are my favorites. And those are the ones that you use the main character, Adol Kristen, and he gets party members. Whereas East 1 through 6, it's just Adol. And it's a lot harder. But the games work a little differently. Adol gets a lot stronger because it's just him. But you also have less things to worry about because you don't have to worry about your part. Oh my god, I almost threw up. You don't have to worry about your party members dying and wasting healing items on your party. So you get less of those. But it's different. I would say if you're planning on playing East, like most of the games, you should probably start with one of the ones from 1 through 6. I would probably say Oath and Felghana, which is a
Uh,
remake of I believe 3 or 4. I think it's remake of 3.
okay, I put it on my
Or you
wish
should play
list.
the East 1 and 2
Chronicles
Chronicle.
Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's all on Steam. So
Yeah, no, they all are. But my favorite is East 8, and I think that's what everybody says for the most part.
Lacrima of
East 8 was
Dana.
phenomenal. Lacrimosa of Dana, yeah. That's the one where you're stranded on an island. It is phenomenal. It is a great game. It's such a great story. It's not too super difficult, so you shouldn't find yourself getting stuck. You might die a couple times, but it's not that it's easy. It's just that it's the game plays like it plays very well, and there's a lot of strategy involved that makes it so that even if you're new, you can definitely beat that game while also having difficulty involved, while also enjoying the story. It's a very good balance between a lot of things. So I would say start with East 8 if you just want to play an East game. But if you want to play the series, I would start with one of the ones from 1 through 6 because they're completely different from 7 through 9, and they're a lot harder. If you start with East 8, it's hard to go back. But if you start with one of the originals, it's easier to go forward. You know what I mean?
For me, it's
I
weird
ser-
because if I start with one of the later ones, I sometimes find it easier to go backwards if
yeah,
the game's
I would
kind
in
of.
general. I played Pokemon Ranger in complete reverse order.
Oh yeah, Shadows of Almia is like really really good, and then the original is just like you
It's
constantly
pretty
have
good.
to have your stylus on the
Yeah.
touchpad.
I played Guardian Signs, then Shadows of Almia, then first one. Like I've played a lot of games in reverse order, and I'm telling you this for East because I played East 9 or East 8 first, and then I played East 9, then I played East 7, and then I went back to 6, and I'm like, wow, this is really really fucking hard. So but if I would have started with East 6, I guarantee you 7, 8, 9 wouldn't have been that hard. So just because they're different, but they're also it's a very old franchise. They started a long time ago, so it's hard to go to 1 and 2 because it's the graphics are just not as in time. But they have remade most of the games. You can't really play East 5. I can't find it anywhere. Um, it might be on Steam, but it's very hard. And it's the only one they haven't remade.
Yeah, there's like Ys Origin, Memories of Celceta,
Yeah, East Origins, Memories of Calcutta. I have East Origins. East Origins is on the Switch. East Origins is a spin-off game. It's completely different. It's a dungeon crawler.
Oh,
It's a great game, great story. It's still East, but it's a dungeon crawler. It's a spin-off. But it takes place 700 years before the first East game. It talks about the actual like story, the legend of East, essentially, is what it is.
apparently East 5 is only on the SNES and PlayStation 2.
Yeah, the Lost Kefin, the Lost Sand Kingdom.
Kingdom of Lost Kefin of Sand.
It's a good game. I've seen. So one of my favorite people to watch, especially for RPGs, is a guy named Alexandri. And he's played East 5. It's really good. I liked it. It's just really hard to find, and it's really fucking expensive.
I mean, I'm guessing it'll also be hard to emulate considering on what systems is it on?
SNES and PlayStation
SNES
2.
and PlayStation 2.
Yeah, PlayStation in general is hard to emulate.
Yeah.
So, but the strategies in those games differ from 1 to 6 and 7 to 9. In East 6, I played, and you have to manage your items for one character versus East 7 to 9, where you have to manage them for 3 to 6 characters, and but money is a lot easier in the first 6 games, I would say, because you don't have to worry about buying for multiple characters.
Hard to manage money in games in general too.
Also, apparently there's 2 versions of Monstrum Nox.
There is, yes.
But if you're not careful with your money, you can very broke.
It's like one has dashes, the other one doesn't.
One has what?
One has dashes around it, the other one doesn't. Apparently one is not supported in English on Steam, and the other one is.
Just get East Monstrum Nox on Switch.
Nah.
Well, that's the better way to play it if you don't have a PS4.
Well, I mean, I have
the real way to
everything.
win is to not play.
I wouldn't play East 8 or East 9 on Steam, personally. All the other ones I would, but East 8 and East 9 are very accessible. So I wouldn't waste your time on Steam trying to figure out maybe more sketchy ways to play a game that you can easily access. And they're always on sale. They might not be on sale at this time, but they're on sale quite a lot. So I would just keep an eye out for them on Switch. They both run very nicely on Switch. They're very good. So.
Okay. I want to call it here.
Yeah,
I might call it here. I'm getting tired. Gotta take a shit.
It's midnight and
It's midnight and I have work tomorrow. I think I should call
I just want to say, everybody, that we have a very nice surprise for you for these next 2 episodes. I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say
planning something, you could say.
We're planning something very, very fun. It's not going to have a topic. We're not going to have a topic that restricts us to one game or one style of games. But it is something that I thought of, and I got the approval from the other 2 guys here, and we really want to do it. We're really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's going to be 2 parts. So you're going to have the first part in 2 weeks, and the second part in 4 weeks.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Things may not go as planned, but we will definitely have those episodes out. From that mistake.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be a bit longer of episodes, probably 2 to 3 hours, something like that, because we're each going to have to talk in our own segments.
Yeah. Should be fun.
Should be fine. Shouldn't be an issue. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it, but let's sign off for now, guys. It's been great. Watch this episode. It was really fun to film. If you really want to learn about certain strategies for certain games, come on over. Hit us up in the comments if you've got any questions, comments, or concerns about why we're doing things or how we're doing things,
Tell us you
what we
don't like
should
strategy
do.
in games at all. Tell us it's a
Tell,
stupid topic.
tell us that you hate us. Tell us that we're stupid and we should quit. Um, do whatever you want. Give us your feedback. As
Thanks for
always,
sticking
I've been
around so far.
yeah, exactly. As
2
always,
hours.
yeah, shut up. I'm trying to sign off.
Too late. Be faster.
All right. As always, I've been Mike,
I'm James.
And I'm Joey.
and we will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Adios.